1,000 minimum into that account, the one in Nigeria. We're going to do more. And as time goes on, I'm happy to say in 2 weeks you're going to
announce the platform. Yes.
Yeah, so that's my own and I think if we believe in him, let's do something. Apart from money, just think of how am I going to do that? Yes. And that's my own strategy, and I want to just go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. I would like to take that last.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sowore, my name is Jide. I'm very happy to be here today. I've been following you now for probably the last 8 months or so. And, you know, I'm one of many Nigerians in diaspora who constantly wonder how Nigeria got to where it is today. You know, we've had this experiment for 48 years. 58. And I mean 58, and it's not working. And you know, we've had bosses in Nigeria, that's what we've had. We haven't had leaders. We've had bosses. You know, rulers and bosses, that's what we had. And looking at you, and even listening to you today, it further strengthens my conviction that you are the kind of person I would want.
Take it! Take it!
Because as a leader, you exude those qualities. You're listening to people. Yes. You listen. A leader listens and tries to connect with people, and that's exactly what you're doing.
Yes.
You offer explanations as best as you can. You know, you're not God, and you're not owning that you're God. You know, and you're actually drumming up this conviction that everybody is now having hope. That maybe there is a way for this country.
Yes.
Most people have actually given up.
Yes.
We don't believe that there is hope for that country. And the most important thing is that any nation, any strong nation that you know, any developed nation that you have today, they have an identity that they all rally around.
Yes.
We don't have that in Nigeria.
Yes.
We don't rally around Nigeria. What's Nigeria? We don't rally. We don't believe. You talk to the Chinese.
There's no common interest.
There's a common, exactly.
No common
we
interest.
Always focus on the things that divide us. Oh, you are Yoruba. Oh, you are Igbo. We don't rally around the identity that Nigeria, we are one.
A common
we have
interest.
more in common than divides us. And every time when I listen to you, I tend to start to believe more and more in that common identity. And please keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
You have our support, undivided support.
Take it! Take it!
Just 2 quick questions. I'm a health professional, so I'm going to ask something that kind of borders on health. I mean, we have a president who he spends, in my opinion, the better part of his presidency getting health care.
In London.
It tells you that he knows there's something wrong in our health system.
Exactly.
He can bring health professionals. If he doesn't think he has the experts, he can bring the experts home.
Yes.
But rather than that, he will go and get health care. So my question is, what is your vision, and how do you hope to implement this to become a reality, to improve the health system, so that every Nigerian would have access to healthcare, regardless of where they are, regardless of their tribe, regardless of their economic
social
status,
yes.
Regardless of whatever your class, whatever it is, that you have access. That's one. 2, there's a big issue with security in Nigeria. You know, a lot of times, when you have to go, you have to always say, sure, when you go to Nigeria, watch yourself. Like, it's just, you have to worry all the time. There's just no structure in place for security. And I just wonder what your strategy, what your plan is for this. Thank you.
I know I said that we only have 4 more questions, but after Mr. Sowore answers these 4 questions, I
have a question.
Sorry.
No,
we also want the
give
women
chance
in the house.
Yes.
At least 1 or 2 questions from the women in the house.
The next 2 questions from women.
What if they did not raise their hands?
We will raise it. We will ask them.
We've given them time to generate.
Okay, audience, please.
Thank you. The first question is relating to toning down my conversation.
Rhetorics.
No, don't call it rhetorics. About the past in Nigeria. And I understand your concerns. When I was doing my last round of town hall meetings in the diaspora, we were in Europe. Particularly, we were in Italy, and from there we went to Spain. And the concern for a lot of people going home at that time was about my security. And the reason a lot of people were concerned about my security was because of the things I was saying about people they consider very powerful in Nigeria.
The untouchables.
The untouchables. But I said it that so many of the things we are saying are very clairvoyant. I honestly cannot in good conscience promise that somebody who denied your children education, who denied them the health care that they deserve, people who refuse to construct the road that just killed a relative of yours, that we are going to give them national award when I become president. I have to say it because it's coming from the bottom of my heart that some of them we have to withdraw their national awards that they've gotten, and I'm very serious about it. With regards to the Senate president, when I say he'll be going to jail, I was very clairvoyant. He's now undergoing investigation, and his wife in Sicily. So if he doesn't go to jail in Nigeria, he'll go to jail somewhere else. That one is not a threat. It is that everybody that has done what they did, they must end up somewhere that is the bottom of something or somewhere. The Senate president is the one who stole all the money from Society General Bank. And when they ruined that bank, people actually died. When he became the governor of Kwara State, over 83 women were trampled to death in front of his house in one day. The tragedy was so much, so bad that it's now cited on Wikipedia as stampede death, one of the worst in the world. He covered it up. So I cannot, as nice as I like to sound, say that these guys will continue to enjoy under a new era. You see, there's no revolution that you want to fight that must not identify its enemies. If I say something otherwise, I'm lying before man. I won't do that. I want everybody to be clear about what I will do. But most importantly, even if I don't say it, they know me. So my insurance is to just let everybody be clear where I stand. Because the reason why most people are worried is because of Obafemi Awolowo.
Political correct.
It wasn't that Awolowo, it wasn't what Awolowo said. It was that they knew what Awolowo could do. They knew it from time. And it didn't matter. Awolowo had already been sent to jail for treason. He was the president of Nigeria. So they know what he would do. It's the same thing that they knew about me. I met a Unilag professor recently, and he said to me, he said, I knew that you become president the day we went to the Senate to expel you the second time. I was expelled from the University of Lagos twice for doing nothing than just saying that Nigeria deserves democracy. And he said the next time they were deciding on my expulsion, it was based on emotion. They said, who does he think he is? That was the reason I was expelled the second time. And what was my crime? I stood out in the University of Lagos where you were. We had a small problem that later became a big problem. There were court guys killing them, wanting to kill themselves. We fought against secret courts at the University of Lagos. One day they abducted me on the campus, on campus ground. They carried me, injected me, stabbed me, injected, broke my back, stripped me naked, and almost killed. But the students came around and rescued me with bare hands. When the university authorities had to decide on this, they expelled me alongside the secret courts. They looked around and investigated and saw. They claimed that I was a member of the secret court. When they did the investigation and found that I was not a member, they now created a secret court for me. They called it Authority Confraternity at the University of Lagos. So this professor told me that after we made that decision, I regretted it, and I knew that one day this guy would be a leader. So it's very important. The people in Nigeria knew me. They knew what I could do from the university. I knew that if I can fight courts, that I will fight their grandfathers when I become the president of Nigeria. And in all honesty, I will say this as my last response to that. The country of Nigeria should discontinue pampering people who are criminals. It's just something we have to do for the next generation. Yeah.
Take it!
Power, which is a question my brother here asked. There's nothing spectacular about providing electricity. If it was so difficult, Ghana will not have electricity. Benin Republic will not have electricity. All these small Caribbean nations on the islands, they all have electricity. What is wrong with us that we cannot have electricity? It has to do simply with corruption. You see, you cannot have a country where the president is importing generators and you expect it to have electricity. You cannot have a country where the president has a private universities and you don't want the public universities to go on strike. Obasanjo built his university at the time ASU went on strike for almost a year. It was the same time Atiku also built his own university. So everything that you have seen them progress with, they built their businesses on the back of destruction of the public utilities. So we just have to understand that. But the most important thing is also to have a leader, who's got digital understanding of the world. The question you should ask yourself is that, are there not energy mixes out there that we can use to elevate our own? We do. Do we have policies that needs to change? For example, if you are going to have power in Nigeria today, if you have electricity supply, or you are generating it, you have to pump it into the national grid, which is nonsense. We need to have mini grids all over the country so that people can have electricity in their own localities that is not generated by
the national grid.
By generators. I went to the computer village the other day in Lagos, and they have problem of electricity. Lagos State has got a new bus station right there, and I'm telling them that the simple thing was that when they were making the roof of the bus stops, they should just make them solar panels, and the solar energy from there can power the entire computer village, and that's a $2 billion industry right there. But do you know what Lagos State is interested in? They want to sell the computer village to a real estate developer.
They want to move them out.
So their most important thing is, how do we move these guys out? They are not interested. I was speaking there, also clairvoyantly, about Fela Kuti's shrine that was there, in that place. I don't know if it is correct. On my way here, I read on the internet that the president of France wants to visit the shrine. President of France, Macron. Because Fela is a big deal in Europe. But the moment Fela died, everybody was trying to destroy the shrine. They didn't think about the future because our leaders are not futuristic. So, look at that. If Fela's shrine had been preserved the way it was the day he died, it would have been a $1 million industry today. Everybody would want to see
a monument.
Where did Fela perform? Because Fela is unabashedly or undeniably the biggest art out of the continent of Africa for a lot of Europeans. It's like the Bob Marley. It's even bigger than Bob Marley. So, but nobody's thinking about that. They are always trying to destroy because of selfishness. So the same thing could happen to electricity. We can generate 4,500 megawatts of electricity through solar alone. And to put that together, you can generate 2 million jobs. Solar is so interesting that it can be our next telecommunication, where everybody is selling solar. Because your roof is the business shop. Just put it there. You generate more than you sell to your neighbor. Or you can have an aggregation of all the solar and you have a central distribution unit. That is, every solar panel is feeding into one place and you are redistributing from there. But it will take a leader who understands the meaning of solar. Yes, the man there now does not understand what they call solar. Even if you break it down to his level, till tomorrow, you are wasting your time. So, And you have still in Enugu, they still have coal there. Even though I'm not a big fan of coal because it's dirty, but there's also clean coal technology out there. In Ogoni land, they have 9 billion cubic feet of gas, from what I heard, that we can use to power gas turbines. But we cannot do that without doing justice to the Niger Delta region first and foremost. Clean up after all the oil companies that are doing business over there. Another thing is to also make our oil companies that are doing business in Nigeria to refine in Nigeria. It is the most stupid thing to do in the world, to carry barrels of oil somewhere and you buy it back. You know, to come and, I mean, it doesn't make sense. How long will it take for companies to build refineries? Especially if it's the companies that have expertise in it. Shebi Dangote started building his refinery after occupying Nigeria 2012. I don't know, maybe he did it before then, but it must be around the same. And now he's going to complete his refinery, and he'll be selling to Nigeria again the same way he's selling cement from our own company that we sold to him in Boko to us, right? And you say government has no business in business, but government is the one cleaning up after all the businessmen. Have I not been talking at my campaign about AMCON? AMCON just came out 3 days ago and said that only about 40 Nigerians or so are owing 5.4 trillion naira. 60% of Nigerian debt profile is owned by, and who is taking care of the debt? Nigeria. But somebody will come and tell you that, oh, they just came from the World Bank and they said that government should have no hand in business. But government is in the business of carrying their sheets after they finish and they didn't clean their behind. We are the ones responsible for it. So why not government just get into real business and ensure that you are not catering for, government should not be the welfare department of people who have failed in business. So these are fundamental things that we must do about the power sector. We must invest in it, but we must also ensure that people who want to invest in it have access to it, because part of the problem is that when it is time to invest in power now, they will still make it a monopoly for a few people. So you cannot make progress that way. Yeah, a brother here mentioned NAFDAC. You're right. I was sued by the guy who went to destroy NAFDAC. They gave him that job because of me. How did it happen? He went to Yaradua. I was reporting relentlessly that Yaradua is dying. Even when Yaradua was still alive. Yes. I knew he was going to die. I'm sorry to say. I had all his medical records and I was reporting it on a daily basis. So this guy went to them and said, you know, I can help you destroy Sowore. Now what happened? I reported that he was part of the scam. You know, you heard about Pfizer. Pfizer, when Pfizer settled that case, Ando Aka, who was Minister of Justice, then gave him a role to go and test, to be a Nigeria's experts on the Pfizer case. And they were going to pay him 10 million naira. And I did a profile of him and discovered that he had never testified in a drug trial before. He was an immigration lawyer doing charge and bail in Houston. Those the story I wrote, and he said I libeled him. Went to Yaradua, they gave him the job. They said he promised that he would destroy Sahara reporters, and that if they give him a job. So they gave him that job. We went to court. The moment we won in court, he never went back to court again. But he went and did exactly what I predicted, that he would destroy NAFDAC. NAFDAC is a shadow of itself today, but Paul Ori, who was the DG of NAFDAC, has become a billionaire. Yes. See, this is the guy that went from Houston. That's why sometimes I'm afraid to tell people that I've lived 19 years in America. because they've seen a lot of fraudulent people who have come from America as well, who came and participated in the governance in Nigeria and destroyed the place worse than the method. So the thing for us to do, and that is why I'm a straight shooter, is that when I'm called by the Spirit to speak the truth, I don't look back. and I'm not trying to be religious because, you know, we can have a long religious argument here again because religion is also part of our problem. You know, so sometimes I don't like it that the God in Nigeria doesn't get upset. Yes, because the God that I used to know about in the Bible doesn't take nonsense. But somehow they've customized Nigerian God.
The God of mercy.
Yes, the man is just looking at them, doing what they want. The healthcare vision that we have, I will summarize it this way. I think our biggest issue is access. A lot of Nigerians have no access to medical care. And the investment we need to make first and foremost is to allow every Nigerian who's got medical needs to be able to see a doctor. But we also don't have enough medical doctors. Most of our doctors have left. So we also have to have a deliberate policy of either bringing back the doctors or temporarily luring back a lot of doctors to come and provide temporary services in the country. As I usually like to joke about it in Nigeria, when you go and see a doctor in Nigeria, they just look directly into your eyes and say that you have malaria without any tests. That is the default position of our health situation. And when you come back 3 days, the thing hasn't gone, they will upgrade it to typhoid for you. They'll just put you on stronger medications. And if you come back about 6 or 7 days later and your typhoid and malaria has not gone, they will upgrade it to spiritual attack. Yes. That is the summary of our medical situation. And that hasn't improved much because we have not invested in health. Those of you who have been here doing healthcare work, you understand what it means to treat somebody for any kind of ailment. It starts with diagnosis. Somebody cannot just walk into a hospital and say that I already know what is wrong with me. No, it's the hospital who will tell you what is wrong with you. After they have diagnosed you properly, they test your blood, they take your vital signs, and they say, hey, this is what is wrong with you. When I first had flu in America, I did the same thing we do in Nigeria. I told them I know what is wrong with me. Just don't waste my time. Give me some. But that time I was doing 2 jobs. When I first came out, I cannot afford to be waiting in the emergency room. I said, no, Mr. Shure, please don't worry. I kept pacing around with this thing. When they eventually came back and said, well, we think you have flu, and this is what you should take. In fact, when they came, they did not give me any medicine. You know? In Nigeria, they will first of all ask you to bring your Botox. They will be injecting it left, right, and center. When they are done with the one on the right, if you say you can, they say tomorrow bring the second. They will be injecting it. Since I came to America, I have never been injected on my Botox before. What I've had is a drip, and then they will be passing whatever medicine they have. But Nigeria is like the doctors are caused with injecting you. Sometimes they inject you so hard. Your Botox will be so hard, they will still be feeling it and say, oh my God, I can't fly anywhere. So, our medical system is like mostly a mental thing, you know. It's like, and also it is because when people go to hospitals in Nigeria, if you have not given them injection, they've not felt that you treated them also. They'll say, did they give you injections? You feel that better? That doctor is not a good man. If he's a good doctor, he will give you here, he'll give you here, and he'll give you 2. You are fine. But that is not healthcare. I mean, that's on the lighter side. What healthcare should be is something that is deeper than that, and it's something that requires a lot of investment, and that is why most countries that have real working healthcare do so with insurance. Nigeria has got the National Health Insurance Scheme. Is a scam. They raise it from time to time for political purposes. What we should do is to ensure that every Nigerian is registered in that National Insurance Health Scheme. and that is contributory. So if you are not a civil servant, you are a vulcanizer, even if it is 2,000 you want to contribute to it, it gives you access to see a doctor whenever you are sick. And that money doesn't go to politicians, it goes to real HMOs. When I was at SAHARA Reporters at the time, we had, and we still have, where you can find a doctor that is legit. The federal government can also do that, where we know all the real doctors, and the doctors can key into the National Health Insurance Scheme. And we can also have doctors who are not based in Nigeria, who can also key into the National Health Insurance Scheme. People like you might want to treat somebody through telephone. Telemedicine has become one of the ways people get treated. We have to find a way to engage people who are sick at home with our professionals who have run away, or the ones that want to come back to create an avenue for them. Right now, I've had experiences before of doctors who went to Nigeria trying to help. And the ones who are already there, they don't want you to come and expose them. So before you know it, they say, no, we don't need you around here. And they drive you away from the system, because the system works for them. It doesn't necessarily have to work for the victims of our healthcare system. So it requires investment. It requires that we create access for it. But immediately what we will do when we take over is to create position for over 160,000 health workers that will go around Nigeria for providing healthcare to people. Even if it's starting at the level of vital signs. I hate it when people have stroke and they claim that it is a spiritual attack. They just haven't taken care of your heart, and it has given up because there's too much stress, and you probably haven't checked it since you were born anyways. So you have to make sure that people don't keep thinking, what about women who want to give birth to kids, and nobody's there to help them. There's no prenatal, there's no form of care, there's no antenatal care. And these are things that don't really cost that much money. But nobody's doing it anyways because everybody's paying lip service to healthcare in the country. Anyways, just to wrap up on my end, and you can continue to engage with us, by the way. This is not the way we speak to people or with people. We do so from time to time on live stream. We answer questions. Is to let you know that we have 10-point agenda, which starts with what we call SPICER HIT. That's an acronym for it, and it starts with security, followed by power, energy, electricity, infrastructure, anti-corruption is a C in it. E there is economy, and R is restructuring. I'm surprised nobody has asked me about restructuring here. It's a regular question we hear. H is health, A is agriculture, E is education, A is agriculture, and tourism is the last thing. And all of it is built on technology. For instance, our security architecture could work. The herdsmen issue, I said, and people are now quoting it, that do you know what a drone can do with herdsmen? You can buy a military-grade drone for less than 100,000. Just 10 of them across Nigeria following these guys around at 5,000 feet above the ground. 5,000 feet above the ground level, such that even if they want to shoot at it, they can't see it and shoot at it. And he'll be giving you constantly their location. If anybody is out there giving them weapons, you can tell who they are, where the weapons are coming from. Where, these are very simple things that you take for granted in other places, right? The same thing with power. The way they used to build power projects in 1960s is not the way it is built. The technology has improved so much that you can build a power project in a city now. Most likely in this Edmonton, you might find a hydroelectric power source that was built in the last 5 years. They have, when you are flying into, I think it was Toronto, no, when we went to Europe, you find a lot of wind turbines. Yes, all over the place. They have it in Kaduna and in Katsina where there's no wind. So, but that's what Katsina needed. Was solar. But they will go and put wind there. If you want to put wind in Nigeria, you go and put it somewhere close to the Atlantic, so that the wind can be. But you know, there's something always wrong with the way our leaders behave. So these are things that we can do with technology. Even with our fighting against corruption, we can do a lot with technology. All the 21% of the civil servants who are fake, technology can help you fish them out. So, when was the last time you walked into an office in Canada and which you don't have to use your fingerprint to enter the office? So that even common theft or something, they get the last person who left the office. Your fingerprint was the one that showed. A lot of offices are now using you know, is it retina scan to detect who are using our cell phones. Yes, our iPhones are there to show that technology is so easy now to use for these things. But nobody is interested in doing it. I went to the University of Ibadan when I was doing a town hall meeting there. They are still counting 200,000 with a bucket of water. I said, this is a university. If you don't have a way we can pay into the account of the university without seeing cash, then we are doomed. Because this is one of Nigeria's first universities. But that's how they're still doing it. They're still doing longhand. So, you know, where's the 100,000? Another person, they will count another 50. They don't even have the machine to count money. So how would they not steal the money at the end of it? So these are some of the simple things that technology could have done for us. The same thing within our healthcare system. In Nigeria is the first place in the world where you see a governor claim that he has set up a state-of-the-art hospital. I keep asking myself, I've never heard anywhere else in the world where they call the hospital state-of-the-art. Because hospital is not an art. It's a science. If they are calling it a state-of-the-science hospital, I would have understood. But they know what they are doing. What they will do is they will go and get an MRI machine. They know that mentally Nigerians respect when they see. Put it in the middle of the hospital. You know, they will say, haven't you seen the machine in the hospital? Tear rubber. That is, it's brand new. What is an MRI? MRI is a machine that you pass somebody through to detect. It's just a glorified X-ray, right? In fact, a lot of people will advise you here in the West against using an MRI because it has been known to trigger, you know, false alarms about health. And then the governor will go and commission it. And everybody will be saying, have you never been to the hospital? If you go to the place, they have one big machine, but the machine is white, like this. And the governor will be calling it state-of-the-art hospital. No doctors there. In Akwa Ibom, one day I got a call, and this is my final story, from former Akwa Ibom governor. You know him. One of the biggest crooks in Nigeria. Let's say it without apology. I'd written a story about him. He called me, I don't know where he got his name. Mr. Sowore, I said, who is this? He said, don't you know my voice? I said, I don't know you. So I'm in South Africa. This was during the World Cup that they did in South Africa. I said, tell me who you are. It's Akpabio, Governor Akpabio. I said, that's very good. He said, I want you to come to my state. I have just built this state-of-the-art hospital. It's the best. In fact, even if you are sick in America, you can come and treat yourself there. I said, it's you that will treat yourself there. Anyways, a few years later, Akpabio had an accident in Abuja. They flew him to London. Just listen to this story before. So, when he was in London, it was the time they had a dollar scarcity under Buhari. So when he was trying to pay his hotel bill, he couldn't pay. One Nigerian who saw him sent me a video of him sweating on the phone, calling his bank. Why is there no money in my account? Now I can't pay my hotel bills. I did the story. Who calls me again? Akpabio. Mr. Sowore, what did I do to you? You can't even call me when I had this accident. You know, the only thing you write about me is that I cannot pay my hospital bills. By the way, where did you get the video of me trying to pay the DC? Do you have people here? I said, well, I do. I have people everywhere monitoring all of your thieves. So, the next question I asked, I said, Governor, probably Senator, I think it was a senator. So whatever happened to that your state-of-the-art hospital you built in Akwa Ibom that time? Why is it that when you fell sick, when you had this accident, that's not where they carried you to? He said that he almost finished it, but his last set of doctors, before they could come in, the economy got bad. I said, but you told me that all the doctors were ready. You even invited me that if I'm sick, I should come there to come and treat myself. You are sick now. You didn't go to your state of the art. Listen. He said, you know, some things have happened since that last time we spoke. Water has passed underneath the bridge. I said, water is always passing under you people's bridge. When is the water going to carry you under the bridge? He said, you this man, you are very tough. I have accident, I'm not even recovered. You are fighting me over it. You know, it's not an emotional issue. You were the one who called me 3 years ago to come and visit your state of the art. Now that you are sick, I expect you to go to the state of the art. And that is my position. And maybe one of the things we should do is to ensure that these people are not able to fly out when they are sick. It will sound mean, but I wish that we can influence it where we say, you are sick, you are taking the treatment that ordinary people are taking here. Yes, the general hospital that you built when you were governor, you must take your treatment there. You know, the school that you built, your children must go there. And that's why people like Saraki, I can never forgive them. Saraki ruled Kwara for 8 years. None of his children goes to the Kwara school. All of them are based in London. They will even go and celebrate the graduation of their children. And we're sharing a picture on the Senate, on the page of the Senate. Some people will be when Buhari's son came back from his accident, they had a billboard erected in Abuja congratulating him for returning from treatment. Yes. So that is Nigeria's story for you. Again, you know, when you tell these stories, you might say, well, we're talking about the problems again. But let me tell you, there is no solution to the problem without properly discussing where the problem came from. Like Ashebe said, we must ask where the rain started to beat us from, so that we know how to stay dry all the time. So on that note, Edmonton, I want to thank you very much. Just so that you know, if we don't get 10,000 that we plan for, we have to travel to New York by bus. And that's but listen, there is nothing bigger than this. Don't feel guilt if we don't make how much we set out to make. That's not what this is about. We have been able to make the most out of nothing since we started this 4 months ago. You know, what we've spent so far is what some politicians will spend just on one trip, mobilizing people. To rent a jet per hour in Nigeria is $10,000. So every amount of money we intend to generate here today is not even enough to rent a jet, a campaign jet in Nigeria for 10 hours. But like Michael said, sometimes we have to use black magic to move from one part of Nigeria to the other. The most important thing is just that this is done. We will defeat them with intellect, we'll defeat them with energy, with stamina, with focus, but most importantly with your support. Thank you once again for coming.
Take it back! Take it back! I just want to do a vote of thanks, and I'd like to list some names that have made this possible. First and foremost,